I do want to welcome everyone here this evening. My name is Mac Aldrich, and I've been asked just to kind of do the little welcome here at the beginning. And I did want to say this real quick before we get started. This was kind of an auspicious start to the evening. As you've noticed from the decorations, there's something special about today, yes? A little bit of St. Patty's Day, yes? Well, as we were cleaning out and getting the dining room ready, I noticed that behind one of the tables there was about a 4-foot indigo. So I took him and I led him outside the dining hall, sent him out into the wilderness where he belonged, and rid the dining hall of the snakes, just as in our St. Patty. My wife was a witness. So I thought that was kind of an auspicious beginning to a St. Patty's Day celebration. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Judge Gilbert Smith, who will be introducing our guest speaker for this evening. Judge.
All right, thank you. This will be my only opportunity, I think, maybe to talk to you, so I wanted to say a few things before I introduce Bill. First, I want to congratulate all of you and thank you for volunteering to support the Boy Scouts of America. You are making a difference in a boy's life, and at the district level, we are supporting scouting in Manatee County and trying to build it up, and we hope to support all of you and your units. But at your level, you're making an incredible difference in a boy's life and the volunteering that you do. As I remember when I was a youth, that what an impact the volunteers made on my life, and the volunteers were role models for me. Those leaders, of course, included included my parents, who were very, very involved in all my scouting. But in particular, one of the most important people in my life was my scoutmaster, Colonel Ken Foster. And that goes back a long time ago. But a scoutmaster and scout leaders make an incredible impression on the boys that they are leading, and they do become one of their most important people in their life. So you really are making a difference. Now, I'm excited to introduce our speaker today, and for a number of reasons. I've known Bill Galvano for a number of years and watched his legal career blossom. I've also watched him rise to a level of community service and service in our state that's been unparalleled by many leaders. He served in the House of Representatives that all of you are aware of and know from 2002 to 2010. And he rose to a leadership in the House and held many different important posts. All of us remember seeing Bill a lot when he was the chairman of the Select Committee on the Seminole Indian Compact Review. He is also a role model, as all Boy Scouts would want, and he is the recipient of many awards, and I just want to go over a few of them. He was awarded the Manatee Chamber of Commerce Leadership Award. He was the Florida Association Legislator of the Year Award, the Healthy Families Florida Leadership Award, and the ARC Legislator of the Year Award. And he is a key person that made possible the Bill Galvano One-Stop Center for Homeless, as shown by the name that bears his name of this facility. Now, that alone tells you that that Bill looks at those type of issues that all Boy Scouts look at in terms of helping the underprivileged and helping those in need, and by the work that he's done on the One-Stop Center. He's a partner in the firm of Grimes, Goebel, Grimes, Hawkins, Gladfelter, and Galvano. Now, scouting is, as we all know, scouting is all about service. And Bill Galvano represents a man dedicated to service in the community, state, and nation. Bill lives by the same principles outlined in the Scout Promise and the Scout Law. Bill's always prepared, and I understand he does a good turn daily. He's passing on these principles to his children, and two of them are Scouts, William and Michael of Troop 64. So at this time, I'd like to introduce you to my good friend and a good friend of scouting, Bill Galvano.
Thank you all. Thank you for having me out here this evening, and it's especially a great honor to be introduced by Judge Gilbert Smith, someone who I have admired for many years and still do, and I appreciate all you do, Judge, not just for scouting, but for the community and state as well, and you yourself are a true leader. When Judge Smith asked me to come out and speak tonight, I accepted right away because I've found that scouting has such a positive impact in so many lives, but personally in my life and in my family life. I have two boys who are scouts that were just mentioned. Michael, who's 14, is a Life Scout. William is 12, first class, Troop 64. And it's been a real pleasure for me to share the experience that they've had through the years. And I thought tonight I would talk to you about really the three aspects or the three impacts that scouting has had in my family's life and in my personal life. And I guess the first is the doing aspect of it, the activities that we actually have been able to engage in. And this is an area that's actually been very tough for me because serving in Tallahassee, I spend a lot of time up north, a lot of time, and that's just part of the job. And as I faced more difficult issues and rose in leadership, the demand on your time and the time away from your family increases. But nonetheless, we still had the ability to really make some great memories. And I was just thinking one of the earliest times when Michael, who was 14, was a Tiger, and we first came out here for a camp out, it was probably 32 degrees, if that. And my wife brought my youngest son, William, who at that time was, probably just out of diapers, and she came out to see how it was going, and she was going to go home. She wasn't about to stay out all night. Well, she stayed a little long and the gate closed, and there she was. And I recall it was getting time for bed, and we were all trying to figure out how we were going to stay warm, and I look across, and there's William, my littlest, in his underwear. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's freezing. He said, well, Mom said time for bed. I'm looking for my pajamas. So that was an experience that I won't forget, and I think he wants to forget it, but I remind him about it from time to time. But whether it's working with them, helping them with their badges, I know I've had the opportunity to host the Scouts in Tallahassee at our state capitol, which was quite an honor for me, frankly. Just those type of activities. Being here tonight, seeing friends become Eagle Scouts, and visiting with their parents and learning from them. Those are great activities that have had an impact in our lives and continue to have an impact. The other aspect is the impact on your children's lives. And to me, it's amazing to see what Scouts has done for both of my boys. And it's not just the skills, although that's impressive to me. I see that my boys can fix things, that they're self-reliant, that they know how to address and problem solve. My son Michael's always giving me those helpful hints like, Dad, stay hydrated when it gets cold. Or I remember, I think my youngest daughter now had a nosebleed, and he's like, you're doing it wrong. When you have that, you have to adjust the head this way. And I'm thinking, wow, these are the things that you want your children to know. That comfort you have when your oldest is watching the younger siblings, because you know they have the skills in the emergency situation, whether it's the CPR, and that's something that a lot of children who don't enjoy the Scout experience don't have or do not have. But also it's the character that's built. And I've watched this through the years. That sense of community, that sense of belonging, that sense of honor, frankly. And it's tangible. I remember a few years back when my son Michael went to Camp Tonakita in South Florida. And it was really his first time to be away for a long time. And he wasn't going to communicate with us every night. And times are different now. Kids have cell phones, we text, and everybody's in touch. In fact, the other day I read an article about college campuses and how the administrations are starting to get concerned because kids are not growing up. They're going to college campus, and in between class, they're texting their parents, well, I'm doing this, and it's back and forth. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's not that standing on your own, like when many of us in this room went away to school or to work or to visit, and you went to that payphone once a week, and called home and talked about what was going on. But in any event, he was there, and it was a week, and at the end of the week, and I was actually in special session in Tallahassee, and Julie came up with the rest of the family, and then we drove to South Florida and picked him up. And we went out to the camp, and the young man that approached me from his campsite was not the little boy I left just a week earlier. I can't describe for you the exact physical characteristic that changed, but he had changed. He was standing taller. I could see a greater confidence in him, and a change that marked in my mind a milestone in his life. Just that 1 week of self-reliance, going out there, being with his leaders, being with people like yourselves who share of their time and talents, and letting him grow. And that's happening all the time for Scouts. It's a long-term pride, a long-term pride. You know, when Michael was inducted into the Order of the Arrow, it's right out here at night, phenomenal ceremony. 2 days earlier, I was talking to a good friend of mine, a plastic surgeon named Dr. Enrique Fernandez, who was an Eagle Scout, was an Eagle Scout, still is. And I often noticed the pride that he took in talking about being an Eagle Scout. And here's a guy who chaired the Florida Society of Plastic Surgeons. He has a wall full of awards, has really achieved in his life at so many levels. Well, I mentioned to him, I said, well, the other night he said, you want to get together? I said, well, actually, I'm going out and we're going to watch Michael get inducted into Order of the Arrow. And we were sitting out, it was dark, and waiting, and of course Michael didn't know. And I looked up and I took a double take, and there was Dr. Fernandez. He walked up, came all the way out, and holding in his hand, he had his sash. And that sash probably was about 45 years old at that point. And that really moved me. I said, this is such a great example of how powerful the influence is in your life as a Scout. That this man would carry this honor with him and hold it high for so many years. And when he visited with Michael afterwards, it was quite inspiring to Michael as well. As a side note, you mentioned the Seminole Indian Compact negotiations. At that time, I was engaged right in the middle of those negotiations. We literally, you're across the table from Max Osceola and Mitchell Cypress and the rest of them, and I told Max Osceola from the council, I said, my son just got into Order of the Arrow. I said, I think you need to start thinking of a good Seminole name for him. So he's made that promise to me. The third aspect is the effect it has on the parent. And I'm going to talk from my personal experience. My boys are involved in a lot of things. They do sports. Michael is an accomplished guitar player. William's always in intramurals and playing chess. And there's a lot to talk about with them and about them. And as parents, we talk to our colleagues and friends. But I always find myself very early on in the conversation saying, both my boys are in Scouts, and this is where they are. Michael's a Life Scout. And really my enthusiasm for where they are going in Scouting. And that's very powerful. That's very powerful. And it brings a lot of pride into my life, and I'm sure the lives of any parent who has someone who's dedicated to Scouting. And the other night, I guess it was just a week ago, I was with the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences at the University of Florida. I'm a Gator, so yeah, good. Boy, this rough crowd. But we were talking, and I said, Michael really wants to go to University of Florida, and it's been a dream of his. And we were talking. He said, "Well, tell me a little bit about him." And I mentioned that he was a Life Scout, and he said, "You know what? That's great." And this is the dean. He said, "That's great." He said, "So many of our applicants are young people who are talented academically that get involved in something as a sophomore or a junior to start building their resume." He said, "When we see a committed Scout, when we see an Eagle Scout, we know that this is a person who knows what long-term commitment is about and how to plan, engage, and achieve goals. And I never thought about it from that aspect. You know, here's someone who's looking at admissions into a college and very competitive. You know how competitive it is today to get into our universities. So think about that. It's not just something we talk about in this room. It's something that impacts people who look at the children that you all serve on a regular basis. So let me end with this. I want to thank you, the volunteers. Really. I mean, it means so much to me that people would take their time and spend time with young boys, help them learn life skills, help them have a sense of belonging, help them choose a path that is so different than so many young people today that we literally weep over. And so it's with great gratitude that I come here tonight to say a few words. And I hope you keep on doing what you're doing, and I'm going to continue to be a very, very proud Scout father. Thank you.
And Bill, I want to thank you very much, but will you come back up to the podium? We've got a little gift for you. We appreciate you coming out here and giving us such an inspiring talk on scouting. We want to present you with a
thank
lapel
you.
pin and
Fantastic.
a coin that on the back contains the Scout Law.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
This time I was going to ask if, Mr. Graham, did you want to come up and say anything while you're here?
Thank you, Mac. I will make my comments brief, but you can't say it any better than Mr. Galvano just expressed his thoughts on what scouting means to his family and what you all as leaders do to carry that program out day in, day out, week in, week out. And as Scout Executive of the Southwest Florida Council, I'm proud to be a part of the Southwest Florida Council. And when you look across the Southwest Florida region, the 7 counties we serve, there are over 3,775 registered volunteers out there just like yourself that are giving up their valuable time and resources to make sure that the boys across the Southwest Florida region have a great quality scouting program that's making a difference in their lives. And again, it's just a pleasure to serve as Scout Executive of this council and be able to work with volunteers such as yourself. Thank you.
Oh, look, we've got 3 now.
3 to choose from.
Yeah, 3, they're all the same. Okay, this is the awards part of the program. I want to thank Mr. Greg for coming up. I think before we start anything, I'm going to just give a little pin, which you might have a lot of these already, but Greg is so wonderful because he comes to all of our little events, all of our, he came to our banquet last year, he comes to all our events up here, and it's not a short drive, is it? It's probably a good hour and a half, 2 hours. So. Is that 1 hour a week thing?
Yes.
And you probably have lots of these already, but this is just a BSA thanks pin. And I've been told that when we give out awards tonight that y'all have to come up here and stand because we're being filmed.
She gave me an orange bobblehead
I
last
did.
year, so
I did. So this is,
I'm moving up.
you are.
Well,
This is
thank
the
you.
more serious.
Thank
I'm
you.
known for my silly awards, but
Thank you.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Most of the people who receive awards start out with their son, and they catch on to scouting, and they fall in love with it, and they stick around. And the longer they stick around, the more work they do. The more work they do, the more recognition they get. And the Distinguished Scouter Award is one of those awards that is given to an individual after being nominated by his peers, his or her peers. And then that nomination goes before a committee, and the committee looks at it, and they select who gets this award. And there are, as you can guess, there are many nominations for this award. And the committee has a very difficult time to come up with the people who are going to receive this recognition, because we have so many that are worthy of this award, but only one can be given. Let me give you some of the requirements. Must have shown service to scouting that is above and beyond the call of duty, and have shown dedication to the program that has an impact on the youth or adults in our district and our council. The individual must have given of their time freely and effortlessly and tirelessly. Those who deserve recognition for their dedication but have already received all other available local district awards will be considered first. And tonight, I would like to call up our first person to receive the Distinguished Scout Award tonight, and it's Glenn Zapata. Where's Glenn? Take a look at this young man. He's a busy but a very quiet man. He's served for several years as the Cub Master of Pack 125, where he tripled the membership, topping out this year well over 100 youth in his pack. And that was all during school night. He assumed the Scoutmaster position of Troop 303 last June, and until when the old Scoutmaster got transferred out of our council. So he's been recognized for holding two positions, a Cub Master. He finally got a replacement to take that, and a Scoutmaster. But Glenn, in his daytime work, is a licensed electrician. And some of you know this, but many of you probably don't, but he's the person who voluntarily installed the lighting system in our amphitheater here, our brand new amphitheater. He installed it in our newly built Roadkill Cafe. He installed the electricity in the Russell Hill Pavilion, and he assisted in wiring the portal coming out of the parking lot into the main part of the camp. And he also assisted in wiring up the climbing wall. He has probably the most volunteer time at CFE of any of our dedicated volunteers. And Glenn, on behalf of all of us in the Manatee District, let me present you this certificate declaring you a Distinguished Scout. And do we have anybody that's over 6 feet tall in here? Yeah, Bill Drake, come on up. Most of you in the room remember last January when this guy was running around all over the place out here, making a fool of me out on the parade field during the time we were running our district camporee. But Bill is Assistant Scoutmaster of Troop 89. He is the father of one Eagle Scout and of a current Life Scout who's about 2 butt kicks away from making Eagle. Bill has attended Northern Tier and the Philmont High Adventure bases with his troop. He's an avid diver and serves as Troop 89's adult cook, where he excels in trash can turkey cooking. Bill has chaired the last 2 Manatee District camporees, and first one in 2008 and the last one this past January. Bill has received the Manatee District Live Oak Award. He got that in 2008. And he assists Jeff Ashman as one of the Harlan Leadership Reaction Course instructors. And Bill also served as one of the CFE Camp Masters, where he serves several weekends a year. So Bill, on behalf of all your peers, I'm declaring you a Distinguished Scout.
Thank you very much.
Roberta was nominated for this award because she was instrumental in getting PAC 108 organized and making it a great PAC. Because of her leadership, the PAC was on the leading edge of Cub Scout PACs, was one of the leading Cub Scout PACs in our district. She has been very instrumental in organizing a new scout troop that will be sponsored by, I think it's wrong, but they got down here somebody that's not sponsored, but her troop is being sponsored by St. Stephen's. And she recruited the troop committee, and to tell how effective she is, she was able to recruit Bill Granger to be the scoutmaster. Now that is something. That is significant, right, Roberta? That was a hard road to hoe. When the troop was formed and ready to go, there were not enough boys. So Roberta forged ahead and kept pushing until the troop came about. As a sideline, Roberta took on the task of fulfilling the old schoolhouse in Palmetto's historic village last fall with 100 years of celebration of Cub Scouting. She did the history of Cub Scouting, and it was a tremendous task that was extremely well done. And Roberta, on behalf of all your peers in Manatee District, I'm declaring you a distinguished Scouter. You want me to give this one out too? I've got another one here I'll give, but he's not here tonight, but I'll give it anyway, and we'll present it to him at the next round table. But Ken Settlemeyer, Scoutmaster of Troop 8. Some of you may know, but Ken is an Eagle Scout. He's been in our area for just about 10 years. Ken is a very caring and compassionate person. He's a Scoutmaster of Troop 8 and has worked really hard to keep his Boy Scout troop going. He truly believes in boys and letting the boys run the troop. He ran our Manatee District Wateree in 2008. He was a contingent Scoutmaster this past year in one of our council contingents to the National Jamboree that was held in AP Hill. He has been through Wood Badge and has been on the Wood Badge staff. And on behalf of the Scouters in Manatee District, I declare Ken a distinguished Scouter, and we will present this to him at the next roundtable.
When Sunnyland Council and Southwest Florida Council merged in 1995, Southwest Florida Council gave authorization to Manatee District to continue the custom of the Live Oak Award for Distinguished Service. From 1956 to 1993, Live Oaks have been presented to Scouters in both Manatee and the old Miccosukee District. Since 1995, it has been the sole Manatee District Award. The certificate represents the award. There are many applications for this award also. Again, were difficult choices to make, and there were so many worthy Scouters nominated for this award. Please keep in mind that these volunteers were all nominated for this award by their fellow Scouters. Requirements for the Live Oak Award must be a registered Scouter, be active in the Manatee District, dedicated to his or her service in Scouting. Consideration should be given to the nominee's position and the corresponding opportunity to give service. Attitude towards cooperation in his or her unit and the district is taken into consideration. The first one goes to an individual who has been a Cub Scout den leader, has been a Webelos leader, is a quiet gentleman, has helped with Roundtable, has 3 kids, is always willing to help, loves working on day camp staff, and has done so for many years, is taking a new position as a Scoutmaster because he has so much extra time. Has a thing for the rabbit that only shows up during day camp. Must be an inside joke. Ran Manatee District's Pinewood Derby last year, organized his first OLSI training last fall, and worked on a committee to organize and run the Council Pinewood Derby last year. It is, and also happens to be, our district training chairman. So we would like to ask Dave Shoemaker to please come forward. Congratulations. Thank you, Dan. Our next recipient has a great life. Is a Webelos leader, is very creative and crafty, is a mother of 3 boys, is a committed member for her son's Boy Scout troop, has a great attitude, has been a tremendous asset to Cub Scout winter camp, has earned her Wood Badge beads, has headed up Cub Scout breakfast hike in the past, as part of the Manatee District Cub Scout training team, worked on staff for Cub Day Camp for many years, has been the Cub Day Camp director at least twice, has attended National Camping School, has been the Council Day Camp coordinator, is on Cub Scout Roundtable staff, lives on a boat with her husband and 3 sons. We would very, very proud to give this award to Lisa O'Daffer. Congratulations. This one's kind of a special award, or special to me, and you'll figure that out in a minute. This recipient has been in scouting for 4 years. Started as a committee member, has assisted at the Cub Scout Day Camp for the last 3 years as a den leader, is big on getting trained, is almost at all the roundtables, has a great smile, very gentle man, is very dedicated to his church, and is always volunteering for something. Is a big fan of screening phone calls from unavailable, has a great work ethic, is a huge family man, and a great chauffeur. He's married to a great Cub master. He is a member of the FBI, Fathers Being Involved, at school. He is a volunteer executive secretary for the bishop and has helped with the state Cub Scout events from Bradenton down to Fort Myers. For the last 2 years, and this is why it's special to me, he's been a dedicated unit commissioner for the LDS units and has done a very good job. And I'm very proud and honored to award Alan Hagerman with the Live Oak Award. Congratulations, Alan. Thank you for everything you've been doing. Thank you. Great job. You did a picture.
You're done.
Oh, I'm done? Okay. You want your pen back?
Okay, Brad and I are going to do the next 3. 2 of these people are not here. We had decided several years ago, as people that kind of gets this thing together, that a Scoutmaster and a Cubmaster each year really should be recognized, because it takes a lot of effort and energy and time and everything else to be in that position. So this year for the Scoutmasters, we had a tie. Again, people submitted these names. So do you want to read these, or do you want me to?
Go ahead, I'll hand out the letter.
Okay. Unfortunately, I don't think our 2 Scoutmasters are here tonight. But we'll start with the Scoutmasters. Scoutmaster of the Year, we had a tie for the 2 Scoutmasters. First one is for Alan Bailey. Alan has been involved in scouting for over 10 years. He started as in Pack 46 as a Tiger Cub den leader and worked at just about every level in the pack. And he's still, at this time, the COR of Pack 64, and his business actually sponsors that pack. He charters that pack. While still working with the pack, Alan moved into Boy Scouting, which all of you guys do. You don't stick around in Cub Scouting. I don't get it. Y'all grow up on us. I've never left Cub Scouting. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong. It was a natural thing for Alan to jump into the Boy Scout troop with both feet and get involved in Troop 181. Alan has been the advancement chairman for the troop. He's been on board review committee, and he promoted an extensive outdoor program, as well as he attends Boy Scout summer camp for the boys every year. Troop 181 has been revitalized under Alan's leadership. Alan is also known for bringing new boys into the troop along with their parents. He doesn't just take the boys, and mentoring them and making sure that they get totally involved and they do a really good job. They know what their job is, and it's just 1 hour a week. But he gets them to say yes. I think we all need to maybe take a lesson from him. He's a great supporter of all the leaders in the troop as well as the friends that he has made. Alan goes not only the extra mile to help out scouts, leaders, parents, and friends, he goes way beyond that extra mile. He's an exceptional role model for the youth in the troop, and he's able to bring out the leadership skills in all the boys as well as inspiring self-confidence in the youth. So Alan Bailey is nominated this year for the Scoutmaster Award. Oops. And our other one is Bill Granger, who Roberta roped into being Scoutmaster. Listen to this. He is Scoutmaster. I don't know how long Bill's been in scouting. Does anybody know? Long time.
This
Bill and
guy,
I were kids.
Oh, like that long? Since he was a kid. So Bill Granger is the Scoutmaster for Troop 108. Here we go, real quick. Bill has been served in the past in this respect. He was the Manatee District Committee Chairman. He was a district chairman, or he was on the Manatee District Committee, excuse me. Manatee District Commissioner. He is Southwest Florida Council Commissioner. He's been on the Council Executive Board. He was a Camp Flying Eagle staff member back in the day as an aquatics director, plus other positions in summer camp. He's a former OA Lodge Chief and Lodge Advisor. He's a Visual Honor member of the OA. He is an Eagle Scout. He attended several NOACs, which is National Order of the Arrow conferences. Thank you. I'm a Cub Scout. I don't do OA. And national jamborees, and in 2007 he went to the World Jamboree. He has attended Philmont with the council contingent back in the day. Bill was a member of the Southwest Florida Centennial Camporee staff down in the Everglades on the Indian Reservation, the Powell Family Reunion. And having said all of that, Bill agreed to take on the job of Scoutmaster for 108. And he did it. And 108 is most happy of that. And it's a huge job to take a scouting troop from the bottom up, from the ground up. Okay, our last award for Cubmaster tonight is Nyaka. That's why you came tonight. Come on down. Yeah, you didn't know why you came, did you? No, this is why you came. Because you got nominated for this, so you can thank your pack and your friends. You do. You've got them to blame. Nyaka, in fact, we kind of thought maybe you wouldn't come tonight because of the Japanese thing. Nyaka works at the Red Cross.
but I'm not Japanese.
I know, but you're with the Red Cross. We thought maybe you'd go over there.
Oh, okay.
We thought you'd be deployed over there with the Red Cross. He started off as a den leader a couple of years ago. He has 3 children, the oldest of which is a Bear Cub Scout. This is the first year of him being a Cub Master, but he has done a great job as a leader, and he made a great year for the Cub Scout Pack this year. He's a great listener. Nyanka is great at taking charge, and he also knows how to get everybody else involved, which is a really great key leadership skill. If you know Nyanka at all, you know that he's a really straight, serious kind of man, but Cub Scouting brings the kid out in him, which is very important, and he makes being a Cub Master really fun. He works for the Red Cross, so he's usually pretty busy, but he always makes time if anyone has a problem or a need. At the kickoff meeting this year, he asked all the leaders to pick one scout who was acting especially well that evening, and then at the end of the meeting, those boys got to spray him with silly string, and the boys just loved it. He's also made it possible this year for one of his den leaders to attend Woodbatch, and he's made a commitment to himself, I think, to send one leader each year to Woodbatch to help them go. And he's very committed at the pack level and scouting, and everybody in the pack just thinks Nyanka's great. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is a special award which we're about to hand out. I've known this person for quite some time. I think I first met him, I don't know, in 1995. This person in scouting is probably held a lot of different positions that I can remember. He's also ran some camporees. He's ran the USA, I believe.
Why don't you just mention the things he hasn't run?
That's tougher to do that.
It's a shorter list, too.
But this gentleman, oh, well, now I let that slip. This gentleman, I always looked up to him. I always looked up to him as a mentor. You know, the man is a walking encyclopedia. If there's something you want to know or something to be researched, this guy would be the go-to person. I also know that he's wrote a couple books. This gentleman has wrote a cookbook and featured quite a few nice recipes in there. I know my barbecue hog recipe is in there. And I think he wrote a book about camp, Flying Eagle, something about a diamond in the rough. And then I also know that for Troop 10, because he is a member of Troop 10, he is our unit commissioner. He did our 50-year reunion book, which did all the research. And wow, what he come up with. But anyways, at this time, I would like to ask Red Dog to come on up here. Great honor to give you this. This is Scout Mentor Award. Here's your pin. Scouting hero, buddy. And
Congratulations, Red Dog.
keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure this evening to recognize a couple of individuals who, oh, thank you. I'll get it. A couple of individuals who have earned the District Award of Merit. This is one of the highest awards that can be offered by the district, and it's for a person who has gone above and beyond the call of duty within scouting, even above and beyond what most of us do already. This person has been in scouting for, according to my notes here, quite a while. He served in a Cub pack for 4 years. He's held the position of committee chair in both a pack and a troop for several years. He's on Boy Scout training staff. He's the father of 2 very active Boy Scouts. Tends to be quiet. Has been very active earning degrees at the University of Scouting. He's a unit commissioner, a member of the Order of the Arrow. He wears the wood badge beads that he has earned. He's also earned the 50 Miler A Foot Afloat Award at Philmont, has the Duty to God Religious Award, has 5 Good Turn America recognitions. He's also the Purchasing Division Manager in Manatee County's Financial Management Department. Have we narrowed it down yet? He's always eager to help scouting wherever he is needed, and he's truly an asset to our boys and adults, and we're lucky to have this scouter as a part of our team. So at this time, if Mr. Rob Cuthbert would please come forward to accept his recognition. Rob getting this nice certificate and frame, as well as a notch to go on his uniform and a nice little plaque that he can put on his desk or hang behind his desk at work or at home or wherever is best. And that's, you have both hands full. Congratulations, sir. This is another District Award of Merit. As a youth, this person was a member of one of our local troops, graduated from Manatee High School. He is an Eagle Scout. We're narrowing it down just a little bit. Worked on summer camp staff in the dining hall, Flying Eagle, for at least 2 years. He's been to Philmont. He's a member of the OA in Acalia Cannon. He graduated from the University of South Florida. We won't hold that against him, I guess. Attended the University of the Pacific McGeorge School of Law, where he earned his Juris Doctor in 1986. He was recently elected as Circuit Court Judge of the 12th Judicial Circuit in 2008. And he's also Manatee District's committee chairman and has taken this job very seriously and has been a very good asset to our district. A lot of effort into it, and because of his leadership, our district is going places. And at this time, I would like to recognize Judge Gilbert Smith. I've been told this time we are going to give a little presentation about the Silver Beaver Award.
For some unknown reason, known only to that person who makes the wind blow and the rain fall and the snow melt, Marvin and I have been chosen to make the next presentation tonight. It's called the Silver Beaver. Before I talk about the Silver Beaver and discuss the qualification of the recipient of it, I'd just like to say a few words that came to my mind tonight as I heard Bill Galvano talk about when he and his sons entered scouting. And we heard some of the things being said about some of the people who got awards tonight. And you know, every year when we recruit across this great country of ours, thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of little Cub Scouts, we also recruit adults. Sometimes we are lucky and we get a mother and a father, and sometimes we only get a father, and sometimes we only get a mother. But 99.99% of the adults that enter scouting enter with their little Cub Scout when he turns 7 years old. Some of those adults will stick around. Vast majority of them will leave scouting when their son ages out or when he quits. But there's a certain percentage of them that all of a sudden catch the scouting spirit and understand what scouting is all about. And scouting becomes a passion to them. And they stick around. And these are the people that stick around for 50 years like Bud Johnson. These are the people that start somewhere down the road receiving these high recognitions that the Boy Scouts give. Those awards called the Silver Awards. And I think the reason that most of them stick around is not to get those awards, but they finally understand what scouting is all about. And our role as adults. You know, this great country that we call the United States of America has a culture that's peculiar only to us. And we enjoy a lot of rights and a lot of privileges. Those are values of our culture. And those values don't belong to us, they belong to our nation. And it's our job as adults is to protect those values and train the next generation so that when they become adults, they can become the guardian. And basically, I think that is why the Silver Awards were developed. Now about the Silver Awards. Back in the late 1920s, the National Council came out with something called a Silver Buffalo Award. And this was an award that they gave to volunteers that presented service to our youth at the national level. It'd been around a few years, then a guy named Mortimer Schiff became the national president, and he was so impressed with this that in 1931 he got the National Executive Board to authorize something called the Silver Beaver to be awarded. And it was to be awarded to volunteers not at the national level, but at the local council level. And the first Silver Beavers were awarded here in Southwest Florida in 1931, and the first two recipients to receive that award were two people that were involved in founding the Sunnyland Council and establishing Camp Flying Eagle. The first recipient was Judge William Harrison, and the second award was a guy by the name of Daniel L. Thorpe. Both those two gentlemen were heavily involved in establishing scouting the council here on the Gold Coast. And they were instrumental in establishing Camp Flying Eagle. Since then, the award has been continued to given out. And tonight we're going to recognize the latest one in Manatee District. This year, I think the council recognized 4 of them, was it Marvin? 3 or 4 Silver Beavers this year. There's only a certain number you can give out. It's based upon the population of our volunteers, the number of volunteers we have. But the Silver Beaver is the highest award that be given at the local council level. If you will notice the one that Marvin's wearing here, it's a blue and white ribbon, and you have a silver beaver suspended from it. The colors are very significant because the colors represent what we in Scouting try to imbue our youngsters with, character and citizenship. And the Silver Beaver is silver because it's one of the strongest metals that we have, which gives strength to our youth. When it was first established, it was only to be given to males. But as Scouting grew and grew and grew, and the Cub Scouting became 1/3 of the program, we had a lot of females started to enter into it. And finally, they decided that they would authorize the Silver Antelope to be given to female scouters. And that was given very short time, from about 1971 to 1974, something like that. And then finally, they decided to do away with the Silver Fawn and make both males and females eligible. And tonight, we are here to award the Silver Beaver to Jim Thielen. So Jim, would you and Meredith please come forward? I'm asking Meredith to come forward because I asked Meredith to come forward because, like most of all the successful and longtime scouters, it's a family, what is it? It's an old family tradition. Old family tradition. But Jim got started in scouting, and the time he got started was with his first son and his wife. Jim married Meredith Lamb, and he has 3 sons, as you saw in the video there. His grandfather was a scoutmaster of Troop 222, and his 2 brothers were scouts. And his older brother achieved Eagle Scout and was tapped out in the OA, and he grew up to become an assistant scoutmaster of Troop 222. Jim's only experience as a youth in scouting was when he joined the Cub Scouts and rose to the rank of Weeblo, and then I guess he found Meredith and he left. But even though he left Weeblos, he's been busy as an adult scouter. His adult scouting career started when he and Meredith registered their youngest son, Phil, for Cub Scouts in 1997. All 3 signed up that same night for Pack 175 in Round Lake, not Square Lake, but Round Lake, Illinois. Jim became an assistant cubmaster for a large pack of over 100 youth. When his middle son, Andrew, joined the Scouts in 1998, Jim was volunteered to be an assistant scoutmaster for Troop 175, also in Round Lake, and then was asked to be the scoutmaster in 1999, all while still serving as an assistant cubmaster. Jim was active as a parent in his oldest son, Patrick's troop during the same period. He also served the district and the council up there in Round Lake in various positions as well. In 2002, Jim and his family moved to Florida. How lucky we were. While his sons were no longer involved in scouting, Jim remained committed to the program and continued his role as an adult scouter in Florida. Over the past 8 years, Jim has been actively involved with the district and council level committees, including chair of the council camping committee, and currently as the council family, chair in the council family of scouting campaign. He is also an active member of the Southwest Florida Council Advisory Board. Jim has served as National Youth Leadership Training Assistant Scoutmaster in 2009 and as the course director of this past year in 2010. While in that position, he was involved in bringing the be, the know, and the do of leadership to over 110 youth participants. And he also supervised a youth staff of about 30 youth. He was the first assistant scoutmaster at the 201 National Jamboree for the Northeast Illinois Council contingent, and he served on the national staff with the ICE crew from Southwest Florida in 2010. Jim has been on staff for the Manatee Adult Training Program. He's one of our trainers in that program here since 2005, and he served as a staff member for the 2009 Teaching Edge course, which is a council level course. Jim went to Philmont Training Center in 2007 to take the National Property Management Program. He also attends an annual BSA National Business Meeting and has been doing that since 2008 and will be doing it again this year. Jim has been actively expanding his scouting knowledge over the years and has been trained for all the positions he has held. He's attended Wood Badge Course C301 in Illinois and was awarded his beads in 2002. He served on the staff for a Southwest Florida Wood Badge Course number 805 and again for course number 879. He attended Lord Baden-Powell University, where he earned his Doctor of Scouting and Council Operation in 2009 and was a staff person at Southwest Florida University for Scouting Arts for several years. He has earned the Cub Scouter Award, got that in 1999, the Scout Leaders Training Award in 2001, received his Scouter's Key in 2002, and the Scoutmaster National Award of Merit in 2002. He's also the recipient of the James E. West Fellowship, received that in 2007. He has his District Committee Key, has received the Manatee District Live Oak Award and the Manatee District Award of Merit. He is a member of the Order of the Era and has attained Brotherhood position in that order. And he went through ordeal in 2001 in Lodge 4040 in, I can never pronounce these names, but Makajawan. It sounds Japanese rather than Indian, doesn't it, Steve? And that was up in Illinois, and he's also a Brotherhood member of Osceola Lodge here in Southwest Florida. While scouting has kept him busy for the better part of 13 years, he was also involved with youth baseball, soccer, and local parochial school boards. He had a big hand in our 100-year celebration that we did last fall here in Manatee County, celebrating 100 years of scouting in our county, when he chaired the committee that established and displayed 7 buildings full of artifacts over in the historical museum in Palmetto. And that's about it. I would say that Jim is one of these guys that knows what scouting is here for and the role of adults. So Marvin, would you do the honor of hanging him? Lady. Fellow Scouters, Silver Beaver and his wife.
The Commissioner staff is charged with helping units succeed. And in order for a unit to succeed, it has to become a unit in the first place. I want you to think back a little over 100 years ago to a foggy night in London, and a gentleman from Chicago was standing under a street light, and he's lost. And a young boy comes out of the fog. And the young boy asks the gentleman, "Can I help you?" And the guy says, "I'm trying to find such and such." "Well, I'll take you there." So the boy takes the gentleman to wherever he was looking for, and the boy disappeared, never to be heard of again. That individual was responsible for bringing the Boy Scouts of America, or the Boy Scouts to the United States, William Boyce. And tonight, we are going to honor Roberta Omlar for bringing Troop 108 to St. Stephen's. To my knowledge, this is the first award of the William Boyce Award given in Southwest Florida County. So congratulations for your job. And as we know, we talk about service and scouting, and one of the things that we do is collect food for the food bank for Manatee County. And at this time, we'd like to recognize Mac Aldridge for the work that he's done in the Scouting for Food program for Manatee District. Okay, now we ready? Judy asked me to read this. Tribute to Volunteers by Irma Bombeck. Volunteers are like yachts. No matter where they are, they arouse your curiosity. Where do they come from? Why are they here? They could stay moored where it's safe and still justify their being, but they choose to cut through the rough waters, ride out the storms, and take chances. They have style. They're fiercely independent. If you have to ask how much they cost, you can't afford them. Volunteers and yachts have a lot more in common these days. They're both part of an aristocratic era that is disappearing from the American scene. They're both a luxury in the world that has become very practical. Day by day, the number of volunteers decreases in this country as more and more of them equate their worth in terms of dollars and cents. 3 years ago, I wrote a column on volunteers in an effort to point out that they don't contribute to our civilization. They are our civilization, at least the only part worth talking about. They're the only human beings on the face of this earth who reflect this nation's compassion, unselfishness, caring, patience, need, and just plain loving one another. Their very presence transcends politics, religion, ethnic background, marital status, sexism, even smokers versus non-smokers. Maybe like the yacht, the volunteer was a luxury, and luxuries are often taken for granted. One has to wonder, did we as a nation remember to say to the volunteers, thank you for our symphony hall. Thank you for the 6 dialysis machines. Thank you for sitting up with a 16-year-old boy who overdosed and begged to die. Thank you for hot chocolate at a scout meeting. Thanks for using your station wagon to transport a group of boys to a ball game. Thanks for knocking on doors in the rain. Thanks for hugging the winners of a Special Olympics. Thanks for pushing wheelchairs into the sun. Thanks for being. If your Boy Scouts, your parents, your Cub Scouts, your committee members, the event organizers, your Cub Master, Scout Master, crew advisor, OA advisor, fellow volunteers have not told you thank you, lately or at all, please know that you are appreciated. That what you do with the time counts. The lives you touch matter. The time you dedicate really makes a difference. Know that you affect the youth of our country, along with their parents and their siblings. Know that you even affect your fellow scouting volunteers. As Emma Bomback says at the end of her essay, it is hard to imagine what the world would be like without volunteers. It is even harder to imagine what scouting in Manatee District would be without you. Thank you.